Hi folks, I'll cut to the chase. What do Island Organics of Alderney and Jersey Hemp have in common? Well, the things that they don't have in common is that one's operating and one isn't, and one was selling full fat products whilst the other is selling broad spectrum. And well, let me just take you through them. Island Organics, based on Alderney, they had a visit from the Home Office. They were told that regardless of THC level, the fact is their products contained THC and were subsequently illegal. And then the Home Office proceeded to get the island government to rescind their license to process, and basically got all of their products halted from being exported from that island into the mainland. Now, it seems that Jersey Hemp have got a similar problem where the Home Office has approached them and has indicated to them, regardless of THC in their product or for the fact that they remove THC from their product, they cannot guarantee the absolute absence of THC from their product. And subsequently, the Home Office believe their products to be illegal. But if they believe their products are illegal, then that kind of means that they think all of our products are illegal. And well, let's just go through the Misuse of Drugs Regulation. All right. Regulation 2 is where we need to look at, and that's where you'll find 3 limbs that define the requirements for a product to be defined as exempt, which is what we've all been working for. And it's worthy to note at this point that up until 2021, when the Home Office talked to the Cannabis Trades Association and said that the Misuse of Drugs Regulation was not fit for purpose, they were pretty much saying that we were governed by that regulation and the 1 milligram rule. But that doesn't seem to be the case now. And the problem, I believe, comes down to, as the Home Office say, the presence or the perceived or potential presence of THC. If that can't be removed, we're in dangerous ground. And let me just explain that to you, right? And before I do, I'm just going to say that my understanding on this is a new thing. I did know back in 2022 that technically CBD products do not fit all 3 limbs of the product exemption requirements, but I believed from the Home Office with their guidance on the topic that products were acceptable within that framework. But now it seems that they're not, because, you know, the presence or perceived presence of THC, that's the issue. Now we can kind of round this down in the product dynamics. I think that would probably be the best way to proceed. So if you take a full spectrum product, what does full spectrum imply to you? It implies the presence of THC. You know, we might say whole plant. Yeah, no, CBD products are selective extracts. Full spectrum in that sense means THC is included. But then there's a problem, because the first limb of product exemption criteria is that the product cannot contain controlled substances, you know, if it is designed to be administered to humans or animals. You know, that might change possibly in regards to medicinal products, but, you know, we aren't there. It's the food industry. So, yeah, you can see that with full spectrum products. You're implying that it's whole plant. You're implying the presence of THC, but to qualify for exempt product status, you need Lim A, and you're not going to get that. Certainly if you've got the Home Office sniffing around you. So what about broad spectrum? Well, THC has been removed, but as with Jersey Hemp, it's been indicated that you cannot guarantee any absolute of no THC being present there, right? It doesn't matter how many zeros you stick past that decimal point on your lab report, there is still the potential of THC because it comes from a plant, or the plant, shall we say. So then, that's a problem, because the product in itself that's under suspicion is designed to be administered to humans or animals. But then, what about if we chop down to isolate? Well, most isolates are about 98%. So that means that there's about 2% of something that is not the isolated single molecule that you are purchasing. Which means that by the time you've made a product and it's been tested, those 3 zeros might come out as 0. But what if you add a 4th 0 on that lab report past the decimal point? Or a 5th 0? Or a 6th 0? Is it still gonna be 0? No. Well, there's something there. Obviously, the more refined the testing, the more possibility you have of bumping into the cannabinoid that's causing all of the issues. But then, of course, it's not really just THC, is it? The Home Office do have a plan to bring in all controlled cannabinoids into our world. That's 12 of the blighters. That's Delta 8, 5 variables of Delta 9, and 6 variables of CBN. So now we're in dodgy ground, But how did we get here? And that's the thing. Some of you guys know me from my CTA days, right? We were talking to the Home Office or getting direction from the Home Office, and that direction was, you're subject to MODA, and obviously by extension the 1 milligram rule. But people weren't looking higher, and maybe the Home Office saying that we were subject to it. Well, it didn't say that we were obliging it. They didn't break down the requirements there. It was just MODA. And in fact, if you go to their their cannabis, CBD and cannabinoid licensing fact file, you can see that there is a distinction made between medicinal products and exempt products. But then that would be if a product qualified for exemption. And that's kind of where the issue lies. Now, I don't get me wrong, I've got a complaint ongoing with the FSA in regards to their handling of novel foods, and in part of that complaint I focus on 4 products that they have validated and that breach MODA, the 1 milligram rule specifically. The FSA have told me that they're not enforcing it. It's not on their road to compliance. However, the trade associations released a letter recently saying that they were, and were demanding that the FSA stop policing it. Well, control comes from the Home Office. So are they enforcing it or not enforcing it under direction? Or are they just going about their merry way? Well, are they enforcing it? That's the big question. Is something happening that might be misinterpreted? I don't know. But ultimately, throughout the whole world of novel foods, we've had this dance of 130220 and the 1 milligram rule. Well, the FSA said they've never had it in their road to compliance, and actually I can verify that. It's the only time you'll find FSA and Misuse of Drugs Regulation together tends to be in my articles, which is a bit, I don't know, mental. But they say it's not there, and the Home Office say that none of our products would qualify for exempt status. And that is industry threatening. That is absolutely. I'm worried, 100%. And it's not just for food products, and that's the thing, right? This is industry wide, right? You just stay in the vape world. Well, this affects you too. And same if you're just in the cosmetics world, this affects you as well. How does it affect us? Well, it depends. If it gets to court, well, the thing is, the Home Office have an opinion. They don't have precedence. So if they go to court and they successfully argue that Jersey Hemp's products do contain controlled cannabinoids, and subsequently the product being designed for administration to human and animals means it's not an exempt product, and it's illegal. Because if that's the case, we're going to the Misuse of Drugs Regulation Misuse of Drugs Act 1971, Section 37, which basically states, regardless of THC level, cannabis is cannabis, and cannabis is illegal. Worrying times. What do we do about this? No, I mean this is the big question, because I'm a little bit uncertain about the press release and the direction, but Jersey Hemp is one of our own, and if for some reason they fall, then there's precedence, and that could be devastating for the industry, full stop. In fact, it would just be lights out for the industry, and in fact that's where the Tiger report would reign supreme. Britain would become a powerhouse in CBD and cannabinoid-based medicinal products, which we already are, but that's by the by. There wouldn't be any CBD supplemental products to worry about, so if people needed them, it's a trot off to the NHS, farmer gets paid, as well as, how that world works. That's brown envelopes and whatnot. So what do we do? Yeah, that's the big question, and I think we need to consider coming together. I'm hesitant to say under a banner, because I think this is bigger than the trade associations, although let's be honest, they haven't really done great jobs recently, but that's by the by. We need to come together under one banner. It doesn't even matter if it's Hemp Pound anymore. All that matters is that we come together, right? And then from that place, we have respectful conversations where we can hear opinions and we can decide what the industry wants. And then, with that one voice, we need to take that to the Home Office. And, well, what is the answer? Well, the answer is obviously sensible legislation that allows us to carry on as we've been carrying on, right? And certainly legislation put in place that is respected by the Home Office through transition, so that they don't try and close companies down like it seems to be the case now. Because if we don't come together, it won't work. If we all hide under one banner, like one of the trade associations with their own agendas and a board full of conflicts, well, we're not going to get a sensible opinion. It'll just be theirs. It needs to be an independent body that basically looks after everyone. And I'm sorry, I can't say that that's the CIC either, because everyone's got that interest. If anything, maybe we as an industry need to create an office of cannabis where the people that work there have a knowledge of cannabis but do not have conflicts, because that's the only way I think it'd work. It needs to be a free voice and a free opinion based on the thoughts of the industry as a whole, and not just members of them and members of them. It needs to be us all. So yeah, I think you should think about this, guys. Certainly have a little check out on the narrative as it develops, because I'm sure conversations will be had before this, after this point, probably already have occurred. But yes, it'll be interesting, and it'll be further interesting to see how the land lies in regards to determinations, because like I said, I'm new to this understanding of MODA. And I know that there's legal professionals out there that don't agree with what I just said, or well, probably won't agree now that I've said it. But equally, we need to be prepared for all eventualities, and we need to understand what the Home Office has said. And what they've said is, regardless of THC level, you can't guarantee it's there, but not there. And equally, then that transfers to knocking you out on limb A because your product's designed to be administered to a human or animal. Yeah, we need to talk. How we do it, I don't know. Maybe some idea will come in the next couple of days, but like I said, it needs to be independent. Anyway, folks, take care and catch you soon.